Myths versus facts. Borderline personality disorder. The ailment known as borderline personality disorder, BPD, is complicated. It has an impact on how one feels about both herself and other people. BPD is characterized by strong, erratic emotions and relationships, as well as insecurity and self-doubt. Everything about a person feels erratic when they have BPD, including their moods, thoughts, conduct, relationships, and occasionally even their identity. BP sufferers have said that it feels like one's nerve endings are exposed, making them susceptible to triggers from seemingly little events. Its signs, symptoms, and effects are already complicated in itself, but society makes living with BPD even harder with the misconceptions it has surrounding people with BPD. In today's Bright Light video, let us debunk the different myths about borderline personality disorder. But before we get started, if you are new here, please do not forget to subscribe to our channel so that you can join a community where learning about psychology is welcomed and encouraged. You can also click the notification bell so that we can notify you whenever we post new videos online. Now that we've gone through that already, let's get straight into the video. Myth number 1. BPD isn't a valid diagnosis. The fact is that BPD is a well-recognized mental health condition. The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, a publication of the American Psychiatric Association (APA), has accepted borderline personality disorder as a valid mental health diagnosis for nearly 40 years. DSM. The DSM is the reference book that experts rely on to make diagnoses of mental health issues. People with BPD symptoms may be criticized for being overly dramatic or attention-seeking, although this perception is false and damaging. Because it can lead to disorder in their lives, people with BPD do not benefit or enjoy the disease. Myth number 2. BPD is caused by childhood trauma. Childhood trauma is not the only reason, it is a risk factor. The idea that BPD is partly caused by childhood trauma is true. Risk factors for mental health issues raise the likelihood of the disorder developing. According to the National Institute on Mental Health, there are several risk factors for BPD. Family history. BPD is more likely to affect those who have parents or siblings who also have the disorder. Brain and biological influence. People with BPD have unexplained changes in the parts of their brains that regulate their emotions and impulses. Environment and social aspects. BPD symptoms appear to be brought on by traumatic life events such as childhood abuse or abandonment. Myth number 3. BPD does not occur in people younger than 18. The most pervasive myth and misunderstanding regarding BPD is still this one. Both the updated Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders (DSM) and previous editions of the DSM allow BPD diagnosis in patients under the age of 18. It is absurd to imagine that a doctor would wait until the patient was 18 before diagnosing BPD, even though they were both 17 years and 364 days old at the time. As soon as a diagnosis is made, treatment can start. Myth number 4. BPD is a rare condition. There are many people who have BPD. Schizophrenia affects almost 2 million people in the US alone and is well known to many people. The prevalence of BPD exceeds that of both bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. According to extrapolation from a sizable study conducted in 2008, more than 14 million Americans are thought to have BPD. BPD is reportedly present in 11% of psychiatric outpatients, 20% of psychiatric inpatients, and 6% of patients who visit their primary healthcare practitioner. Myth number 5. Bad parenting causes BPD. There is far too much blame placed on parents for a variety of issues in their kids, but there is no proof that poor parenting leads to BPD. They are probably unique instances where parents have made their child's inherent susceptibility worse. However, the vast majority of parents are kind, loving people who are unsure of how to assist their kids. It is time to stop attributing the development of BPD in children on their parents, because there is no research evidence or clinical evidence to back up this claim. Myth number 6. BPD only affects women. This is untrue, period. Women were shown to be disproportionately impacted by a 3-to-1 ratio in early studies of BPD. The distribution of males and women is roughly equal, according to more recent studies. The lack of study on BPD in men contributes to the myth's persistence. One theory to explain the gender gap is that since psychiatric settings are where BPD research is commonly conducted, and since women are more likely than men to seek care, there are more women than men with the disease there, giving the impression that more women experience this disorder. However, regardless of gender, we must make the diagnosis when necessary and then offer both men and women efficient therapies. Myth number 7. People with BPD are manipulative and attention-seeking. BPD patients respond in a variety of ways, but not always because they want to. You can buy into the misconception that persons with BPD manipulate and act attention-seekingly because they enjoy it. BPD is not a pleasant condition to be in. The illness is a byword for tension, worry, and dissatisfaction. When a person with BPD engages in manipulative behavior or seems as looking for attention, it is because they are desperate to feel better so they can avoid being separated from or rejected. Unfortunately, because they are unable to obtain the relief they need, harmful coping mechanisms start to develop along the road. Lying and manipulating others are just ineffective means of symptom management. Myth number 8. Suicide threats by individuals with BPD aren't serious. Threats of suicide should always be treated seriously. Suicidal threats made by someone with BPD may be misunderstood as an attempt to elicit a response. Once more, this presumption is unfair and false. Suicide is a common occurrence among those with BPD. Up to 10% of those who have BPD will kill themselves, and many more may attempt suicide or injure themselves. Threats of suicide must always be treated seriously. Ignoring the threats has too many costs. Myth number 9. DBT is the only therapy for BPD. Chronic suicidality and emotional instability are two symptoms of BPD that are treated with dialectical behavioral therapy, DBT, a type of talk therapy. Evidence gathered by researchers indicates that DBT is successful in treating BPD. DBT is an excellent option, but there are many alternatives. For instance, several components of DBT are built upon cognitive behavioral therapy. Additionally, BPD risk factors and causes that are specifically addressed in mental health therapies may help lessen symptoms. Remembering that not every therapy strategy works for every patient is essential. Individual needs and experiences must be taken into account while designing treatments. Myth number 10. People with BPD aren't capable of love. This broad and cynical perspective of those with BPD is incorrect. BP sufferers can love and be loved. Many people who have BPD are in committed, long-term relationships that experience the same highs and lows as other kinds of relationships. Everyone has the capacity for love and is worthy of receiving it. People with BPD struggle to manage their behaviors and emotions. Their emotions might suddenly shift from upbeat to impatient to depressed. Their impulsiveness could cause them to do regrettable things. Patience is needed from all parties because these problems can make partnerships more difficult. Myth number 11. People with BPD are dangerous. It is true that people with BPD can experience irritation at times. An extremely high level of inappropriate anger is one of the key diagnostic criteria for BPD. In actuality, BPD sufferers are the ones most prone to damage themselves. People with BPD may be easily irritated or have a short fuse, appear to be angry all the time, or engage in physical altercations. Despite their rage, they do not pose a threat to others. BP sufferers who have a high rate of suicide are most dangerous to themselves, not to others. If we truly want to promote equality and proper treatment for all, it is important to debunk the harmful and wrong misconceptions we have learned about these mental health issues first. Through this, we get to understand them more without having that judgment in our minds. Before we end this video, we would like to remind you that if you or someone you know can relate to the descriptions and suspects to have BPD, please do not hesitate to ask for professional help. They can help you assess your case more and develop ways to cope with it. Having BPD is not a life sentence. There is still a way to live better with it. That ends our video for today. We hope you have learned a thing or two. If you did, please like this video and leave a comment on the comments section below. We would love to hear your thoughts, suggestions, and reactions. If you want similar videos, do not forget to subscribe to us and click the notification bell so you can get notified whenever we post new videos. Until next time, bye.